Welcome to another edition of the Ultimate Fighting Chat podcast with Kungas and Yelland. Today, we're going to be discussing UFC Fight Night, Fight Island 5, I believe it's known as. So it means it's the fifth event on Fight Island. Marlon Moraes versus Corey Sandhagen at the Flash Forum on Yas Island, on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. This event took place on Saturday the 10th of October. The commentators are Dan Hardy, Paul Felder, and John Gooden. Now, before I go any further, that reminds me. Oh, first off, you all right?
Yeah.
You met Gooden, didn't you, in Waters?
Did you? I met him in home base.
In home base? Good one. You don't go home base, so that's already a little bit weird.
I used to go home base with stuff like screwdrivers and all that.
You don't? Oh, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you do stuff like that, don't you? God,
He
silly.
looks really right. I mean, he lives around Waters because he trains.
Well, maybe he doesn't want people to know that.
You're the one who said I met him in Waters.
Yeah, okay, we could have been shopping in Waters. I've been Waters. So it's a bit crap that you've said that for starters. And you also said that he was a bit crap.
No one knows where Waters is because there's no such place as Waters. That don't matter.
Okay,
anyway.
I forgot about that. But you said he was a bit crap, didn't you?
He puts where he trains. Well, not always, but he puts on his Twitter feed, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know. I would never presume.
Hey, well, I've seen him put on his Twitter feed. But anyway, regardless, I saw him in home base. Can't remember what he's buying, curtain or something like that.
Well, maybe he doesn't want people to know that.
What, they want a curtain rail?
Yeah, and I'm telling you now, I remember the story of being that he weren't very nice to you.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. You said he was like, not very friendly, I think, was sort of...
Nah, what it was...
I think the word you used was for a bloke who ain't that famous, right, you'd think he would have quite liked it that someone recognised him and he didn't seem like he did like it.
He was surprised that someone recognised him. That's what it was. It wasn't very nice because he was. I mean, he sort of said thanks and everything, but I was expecting him to be a bit...
Big deal, thanks, yeah, that's the minimum.
No, but because he's not the guy that I necessarily expected many people to approach him and go, oh, you're good and all that.
You said he was good.
You're a good one.
Yeah.
But because I thought that maybe he didn't. I thought maybe it'd be a bit like, I think that's what it was. I think I caught him a bit unawares. Don't forget, he was there, I don't know, whatever, looking for some 3-inch screws or something like that. And then some little bloke comes up to him.
He's looking for a 3-inch screw.
Yeah, I've had a few of them in my life. But he, I just said, he just went, yeah, I just think it's really good, that beyond the mat stuff you do with that. Really like that show. And then I actually said, I think you're better than John Anik and all.
Brilliant. Now that is, and I know that's true, that you do think that.
Yeah, I do think he's better than John Anik.
So do I, yeah.
I actually think he's good because he provides some technical insight, right? Because he trains you to do, he does triathlons and all that, and also, but maybe don't want people to know he does triathlons.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He does jiu-jitsu and stuff, and so sometimes when you can see there's some grappling on the ground, he's kind of brings up some positions and stuff like that. He kind of gets involved a little bit in tech. Some people might go, I don't want that from him. He's there to read Budweiser commercials. But I do, because he don't do it loads. He just chips in where he feels an opportunity. He's a bit of a... Whereas Anik is just... What do you call it? Just a bloke who reads the Budweiser advert. Colour commentator, is it?
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
Where Anik is just a colour commentator, Gooden does both, crosses both sort of boundaries, I find. So I think he's all right. I quite like him.
Well...
And he used to do stuff in MMA as well. Did he?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't remember him on it. I would have to read his biography. Yeah.
It's Ben the Pen Cartledge, isn't it? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Ben the Pen, yeah. He's brilliant. Yeah. But I think we'd have to read his biography to find out for sure. But you said he's jits. I actually think he's striking before jits.
I think he's done some boxing. I think I've heard. What, maybe don't want.
No, I think it's like karate, taekwondo, whatever. I mean, I think he does. I think that was his first. Look, I don't know for sure, but I have heard that he does do
say like amateur boxing, right? Making some reference to that. Whether that means he just went to a couple of classes when he was a lad or what, I don't know. But yeah, I because He's definitely well into the sport. You know, we've said it before. I get the feeling that if Anik got a job offer to do the NBA or something,
I'd be
he'd
gone.
probably watch the odd Conor McGregor fight and the odd fight here and there when he was with his buddies, you know what I mean, at the bar. I don't get the impression that I think he likes it, but I just don't get the impression that he loves it as a sport and would just watch it for free, everything, all the content, Invicta and all that sort of stuff. You know, I don't think he'd do that. Whereas I think Gooden does do that.
Well, look, I used to watch Anik when I first saw him. He was on an ESPN show called MMA Live, and he was sort of the host of that. And I liked him. I honestly thought he was good. But like you said, he didn't get involved in anything. He just asked the questions, presented the next piece or whatever, stuff like that. But I know when I did see it, I know the boy said to me once, he went, oh, yeah, Anik, he's crap. He was on some of the WWE stuff. And he got on my nerves on there. So I think he's done quite a few things. But on the MMA Live thing, I honestly thought he was good on that. You know, it was good to have a suit bloke, professional, clean cut, running the show.
He sit in that armchair, didn't he?
No, not that one. Not the laid back one. No. This was,
what was that one? There's one where he used to sit in an armchair. And I used to hate that.
You could see socks and he'd have, a pair of trainers on, laid back trainers and all that. With jeans.
Trying to do a Uriah Faber in it, being a 40-year-old who's still sort of like hip and trendy.
That weren't good. No, the MMA Life was a suit behind a desk or whatever. That was all professional. That I did like. I liked him on that. And so it was no surprise when he did get involved in it properly. I thought, yeah, he deserves a job doing this. Before it was ESPN, that MMA Live show, but I'm saying he was in UFC before it was on ESPN. And I thought, yeah, this makes sense. But I don't know. I ain't into him anyway. He gets too much chat.
He's the professional gizzer. That's what he is, and he definitely is that. But I just can't handle all these fighting on a postage stamp and all that.
No. Well, I don't know. Look, I asked you the other day, but you didn't say much about it. So I'm going to ask you again because I'm not satisfied with the response. When I went in that shop the other day and I ordered some grub, and the woman added it up, and it comes to £19.80, and I gave her 20 quid. She just took it, put it in the till, and walked off. Look, what is going on with that? Should I have, how I am. I'm a bit awkward with it. I haven't stopped thinking about it, not every minute of every day, but I should have asked for my change, right? I mean, what the flip was going on? Even Bunhead said to me, where's your change? So obviously made me look crap as well, right? Because he must have been thinking, oh, this stupid weakling can't even ask for 20 pence. But because it was 20p, that made it worse. I think if it was, say, a couple of quid, I definitely would have gone, yeah, where's my change? I would have still felt awkward. But for 20 pence, it kind of made you think, well, am I supposed to unagree this 20p? So I did unagree it, but I still wanted it, and I still want it. What are you saying about that? I didn't like it. Why did she do that?
1% tip, isn't it? But,
is that 1%? Yeah, 1%, yeah.
But
would you have asked? Would you have said, where's my change?
Nah, definitely not. I'd have just gone, sorry, it's 20p. It's not.
But would you have felt like a mug after it? You walked all over.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah.
It burnt me out probably for about the next 3 or 4 years. That's the thing with me. I'm the kind of guy that, I don't know, just something will click in my head sort of about 2.5 years later, and I'll just go, I'll get a little jolt through my spine where I go, should have asked for that 20p. That's
what I've done.
Yeah, it's just, it just stuff like that preys on me. Like there's even stuff from when I told you before, one of the reasons why I used to be really shy as a kid and not say hello to people was because once I said hello to someone and they didn't say hello back, and I felt like such a mug.
Who was it? One of your dad's workmates or something?
For the next 10 years or something.
Who was it? One of your dad's workmates or something? Who's the person who didn't say hello back?
I think it was an adult. Like there's another, I think this is a bit of a classic where somebody says hello and you think they're talking to you. So you go, hello. And really they're talking to the person behind you.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, I've done that before as a kid as well. And so I just basically made an agreement with myself. Don't say hello to anyone. Don't be, just ignore everybody until it's blatantly obvious that they're talking to you and you alone. And then you can come out your shell. So yeah, I let stuff affect me for too long. And that 20p would grate on me for years, possibly until, even when I'm a coffin dodger. But I wouldn't have asked for it back either.
See, the thing is,
It's 20p. I think now, we said before, you always remember how you should have reacted to a situation hours later when you've had a chance to think about it. So,
yeah,
like this
that
classic one where you go, I should have come back with this, I should have said, this comeback, and that would have made them look like a right mug, and everybody would have cheered and applauded me and carried me out on their shoulders. That version.
Yeah.
I think in your situation, I probably, a good way to do it would have been like, just said something like, ain't no change coming back now, in a jokey way or something like that. Or
there
just
were people there, other people, other customers.
Just said something like, you're going to keep that 20p then? Or is that 20p your tip? Something jokey that made her go, and realise the mistake. But at the time, I wouldn't have been that quick, wouldn't have thought about it, would have swallowed it.
No, you need warning before you go in. Say, look, just so you know, it's going to be 1980. You're going to give her £20 and she's going to nick your change. You need a warning first, then you can have a plan. But to get caught off guard cold with other people in there, that's another thing. I've got to say it out loud. They're going to be like, she tried to take his change. And they still mocked me. I still felt them mocking me because I never got my change.
Yeah. And I think you also think are people going to think I'm a tightwad or a tramp asking for 20p?
Yeah. Well, don't tell me it's 1980.
Look, I'll give you an example.
Tell me it's 20 quid if you want 20 quid. Don't tell me it's 1980 and take 20. Can't do that.
Here's the proof I wouldn't have done anything about it. I've had bucket loads of times where you go into, say, places like, I don't know, Tesco, whatever, supermarket, and there's a deal on, buy one Easter egg, get the second one for free. Yeah. And I ring them through, and they both go through at £3 each, and the big one don't go through. And I don't call anyone over. I don't kick up a stink. I just go, I got my pants pulled down, and I walk out the shop, £3. That's it. So there's no way I would have stopped and said, can I have my 20p? No way. Only in my dreams would I have stopped and said, where's my 20? In my dreams, I'd have said, where's my 20p, you mug? And everybody would have cheered and been ripping us off ears and all that. And I'd go, don't worry, guys. I've sorted her out. That's what would have happened in my dream. But in reality, I'd have just swallowed it. And,
I like it. I like the honesty because you could have done me, but it's good that you're honest and going, yeah, I would want to ask about it, but I definitely wouldn't have. Yeah, and I was standing there. I told you, Bum was standing there. Like he said to me, "What happened to your change?" So he saw it. So now, what does he think of me? I'm supposed to be an example, And I've shown him. Well, it's okay to get walked all over. Don't worry about it.
Nah, well, he wouldn't have asked for it back either.
Well, he wouldn't.
He gives it the chat, but he gets red cheeks when he gets in a sticky situation. We've agreed it. When there's a bit of confrontation, he evaporates. Well, he's if he was a superhero, he'd be evaporation man.
Exactly. Say what the two examples are, right? The two examples are: there's a local tramp, and everyone knows about the tramp. But when he saw him, and he was in, how far away was he? I mean, it was not far away. He's like, I don't know, 20 meters away. He was length away, and his face went all pink. His cheeks went all pink, and he basically went the other way. I mean, he literally turned and went the other way.
That was the problem on it, is that it's not just that. It's because he had to go past the tramp on his own, because we were going the other way. He had to go past the tramp on his own.
That's right.
Get to his car, and the problem is we've been telling stories about that tramp only moments earlier, where apparently he pulled a knife on someone.
That's right, yeah.
And so he was like, "Are you guys not coming to the car?" And we're like, "No, we got to go this way. See you later." And he had like a bright red face and was all like, "Oh, I might have to go this way then." It's like, no, go that way. What's the problem? He's scared of the tramp. So
in broad daylight.
Yeah, whereas dusky when about 5 or something, but he still bottled it. We had to walk into his car in the end, and
we did. Yeah, we went with him. Yeah,
and the other one was, well, let's not talk about that because it's too political, isn't it?
It is a bit, but yeah, it is a bit.
But we weren't wearing a mask in a shop. Somebody came. Right.
Someone approached.
Gives us dressing down, and he just disintegrated.
There was no such bloke anymore.
Yeah, he just basically appeared over by the bakery. Yeah. 5 minutes later, it's like, where the hell did you go?
Well, didn't see him leave that spot.
No, yeah,
he just teleported from one spot to the other, just disappeared. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, left us to face the music.
Yeah, rotten git. So he's crap. So you're right. He wouldn't have asked for the 20p.
Nah, definitely not.
Nah, so he stinks, rotten. But there you go. So let's get into these fights. This card was a good one. We'll do the prelims and we'll end at the prelims.
Oh, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think it was, though, this one.
No, but it was a good one.
Yes, I get it. Your mate from bloody Waters. Oh, he's from Waters. Because you told the world who's listening, that he's from Waters. They don't even know where Waters is. And now they know that you go home base, which you don't.
Wait, I can't now. It's shut down, isn't it?
It was bought by Burries, wasn't it? Sainsbury's bought it. And then, is it gone now, home base?
It's went to administration. Buy stuff online.
Nah, it's still open, home base.
Oh, no, it's changed. It used to be home base, and now it's called The Range. Those shops, The Range.
Oh, it's not called The Range. The Range is a different shop.
That's what I'm saying.
It changed. Home base changed briefly to Bunnings Warehouse or something like that, but that's gone. I think home base is still going. It don't matter.
Well, if they're online only, I think maybe. I don't know. Who cares?
Nasty. So you don't care about the economy and people's jobs like that.
Obviously, it matters.
It's crap.
No, I'm saying it don't matter. As in, it don't matter to people who tune in to listen to. Well, no one does tune in to listen to this, so that makes no odds. Let's talk about home base.
Solid. Could do. Yeah. I don't mind, but I've kind of run out of home base chats.
We still get those same fake, good-looking women accounts going stuff like nice.
Yeah, well, like I said,
baby and all that garbage.
The real viewers won't see those because I've blocked those comments and removed them, so they won't. Yeah. They won't see them. I should leave them. They're the only comments we get. Better than nothing.
Replying to them.
Yeah, maybe we should. But this was a good card anyway. I definitely enjoyed this one, whereas the last one was a bit ropey. First fight, Tagir Ulanbekov. It's his UFC debut, just so you know. Is that not his name?
No, I ain't seen it.
Oh, you stupid fart. Right, okay. Listen, I said to watch it, and you still haven't. It's crap. There's twice you've done this. Right, okay, well, I'm still going for it.
Yeah, go on.
Right? I have respect for all the fighters. Well, you say that. You give it a chat. I got respect for anyone who turns up and shows up in the ring or the cage. But you ain't. Because he went out, he had a fight. Not just him, not just Tagir Ulanbekov. It was Bruno, Bulldog Silva as well. And you didn't even have the respect and decency to watch them. But yet you'll watch Cyphers.
I wouldn't watch Cyphers if she was on the Fight Pass prelims, huh? Only have to watch Cyphers.
You need to change your attitude. Right, okay. The whole premise of this show, right, was that it was two mates having a chat about UFC. I admit that. And it's not real. Well, it is real, right? Because we would have the chat. But we wouldn't have said Tagir Ulanbekov versus Bruno Bulldog Silva, right? So we amend it a little bit. We're trying to be a little bit making it something that's plausible that people might listen to. So maybe before you wouldn't have watched the Fight Pass prelim, but you should now because,
I'm definitely going to, right? It's just...
2 in a row.
I forgot.
Well, that's the disrespect. That's the lack of respect for it. But look, don't worry about it because I'm sure you know what they look like or you know the results. But first off, Tagir Ulanbekov, I didn't see he had a nickname because he didn't. But Bruno Bulldog Silva, I mean, that's so run-of-the-mill, isn't it? The Brazilians and the Bulldog. Well, I suppose Pitbull as well. Same thing. But I mean,
I've never heard of
Silva.
I've never heard of a Brazilian called Bulldog other than this bloke.
Yeah, Pitbull's the same thing.
It's a different dog.
But it's still a dog. You're just not going to call yourself, Labrador, Bruno Labrador Silva. So they try and pick one of the grit dogs, don't they? And that's bad enough. But they're obsessed with it. It was a flyweight fight.
Can you name any other Brazilians named after dogs other than Betche Correia, who's now retired, and...
Well, what was her nickname?
Pitbull, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Patricio. The Pitbull brothers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, there's a couple more. Yeah. Any others?
Well, I don't need loads to say that it's a bit of a trend.
All right.
You know what I mean? To pick a grit dog. Well, why not call himself Labrador? Or Poodle?
I'd like it if someone called themselves Labrador.
Bruno Poodle Silva. Bruno Chihuahua Silva. Why can't he call himself that?
Yeah.
Shows the attitude of him, right? Well, Ulan Bekov won by unanimous decision. And honestly, I've got nothing else to say. That's it.
Do you think either of them, people to keep an eye on?
No.
All right, well, we'll move on then. You heard it here first, everybody.
Yeah, okay. Well, even worse than that, because it wasn't the worst fight or anything, but like I said, there wasn't any real discussion points, and it wouldn't matter if there was, because I'd be talking to thin air because you didn't watch it. And the same with this one.
4 out of 10 then.
You want me to give it an out of 10, the fight?
Yeah, for entertainment value, yeah.
He was all right, actually. And now I'm thinking about it. He had a bit of a smashed in bloody face and all that. It's just that it weren't very good. I don't know. 5, halfway, 4.
All right,
so bad.
Average, yeah. All right.
Tracy Cortez, 7-1 versus Stephanie Egger. Bantamweights.
Let me guess. Armbar or decision?
Well, okay. Well, hold on. Stephanie Egger, she predicted a round 1 KO.
Did she?
Yeah, that's what Gooden said, right? She predicted it. At the start of the fight, they came out, predicted it. He said, Egger predicted a round 1 KO here. Going to start showing off her hands, that kind of thing, stuff she's been learning and all that. Well, Egger's predicted a round 1 KO, but it was a decision by Cortez.
All right.
So not only did she get done, they had to go all the way to the 3rd. But there you go. So that's what it was, a run of the mill.
What was it about Miss Egger that gave her the confidence to, think that she was going to get a TKO?
Right. Honestly, I've got no idea, because I'm telling you now, she's non-real. Cyphers is better.
The reason I ask is because she's only ever stopped 2 people in her career.
Yeah, but she might have only had 2 fights. Well, she's only had 6 fights. 7.
7, yeah. But there you go.
Not bad for a woman.
No, rubbish. One of them was a corner stoppage, so
that's not real.
Yeah, so it's only 1.
All right.
And I mean, this was obviously a decision was on the cards, because out of her 8 wins now, Cortez has only got 2 stoppages, so only got 25% stoppage ratio.
Okay. Well, look.
Likely. But she's won her last 8 now, Cortez. Did she look any good?
No.
No.
Eggers is non-real. First off, non-real. Yeah. I mean, completely. Terrible, terrible stance. Everything terrible. Non-real. That's all there is to it. What about a nickname for Stephanie Egger?
Stephanie the Beggar.
Stephanie the Beggar. Egger. Quite good. What is that you're eating?
I'm eating a Kit Kat.
Yeah, classic. Can't go wrong with it. Chunky or normal?
Normal. Don't like chunkies as much.
But yeah, they taste a bit like coffee, don't they?
They're just a bit too dense.
I like them, but I don't like coffee, but they're a bit stronger than a normal Kit Kat.
I think it's because there's more chocolate to wafer ratio. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
I prefer the finger ones.
That's why you're eating one, isn't it? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Cortez didn't look good because we finished with nicknames on Egger, have you? Because I think the Beggar Egger is quite good.
Well, I can think of.
All right. Cortez.
What about Scramble?
Stephanie Scramble Egger. Scramble's good because it's a fighting term.
Yeah, right.
That's it. That's a good one. I'll put that one in. I'm sure the next fight she has, which I don't think she will be having one, trust.
It is another good one.
Yeah.
Hard boiled.
Stephanie Hardboiled Egger. Oh yeah, hard-boiled, means that she's hard.
Yeah, because that film, isn't it? It's that old film, Hard Boiled. That's right, isn't it? Hard Boiled Egger. I prefer Scrambled.
It's a 90s film with Chow Yun-fat.
That's right, yeah.
Directed by John Woo.
Yeah. I think Scrambled Egger would be better.
Have you seen that film or not?
No, it's supposed to be good though, isn't it?
Very good, yeah. Really, really good. Yeah, it's an amazing film.
Good.
Yeah, for an act, so By the way, it's an action film, but it's a brilliant one. It's really good. So what I'm saying is, don't expect Power's wicked dialogue scenes and all. No, it's brilliant. It's everything.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. No, it's brilliant.
I ain't going to be watching it expecting to see, Schindler's List 2. I know exactly what it's about.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Another John Gooden. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Cortez had, as far as I'm concerned, silly fake eyelashes, even though it was in a fight. I mean, I'm certain they were fake. They were massive. They might not be. She might go, no, that's where you're wrong. They're real. There's just natural beauty or whatever. I don't think so. They were massive. Didn't look right in a fight. I swear to God, in the after-fight interview, I couldn't be 100% about this, but I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure there was something on her teeth. But I'm pretty sure they were like diamonds or something like that.
Oh, yeah, some people get those little sort of diamonds put in their teeth, don't they? You can get like a diamond.
That tells you all you need to know about that type. But anyway, she was too toey. So she was better than Eggers, as in, she had a bit better movement and footwork, but it was too toey. Right on the tips of her toes again. Like we mentioned, another woman that was toey, and I can't remember who it was. What I will say about Cortez is she won that by unanimous decision, but for most of that fight, she was on Eggers' back and didn't manage anything from that real dominant position, for ages. It's like, for God's sake, I really struggled with this fight. It got the fast forward treatment. That's all there is to it. So it's a good decision not watching that one. You didn't miss out on anything there, apart from the lashes and the diamond teeth. And but you should have watched it regardless, because. Well,
no, I'll make sure I will. It was just
thanks.
Just I forgot this time. That's
all right. Okay, well, we could we'll just do the next fight then. I mean, you've seen the next fight, I take it.
Yeah, I watched it.
All right. It's Omar, Venezuelan fighter Moraes. Where's he from, do you think?
What Venezuelan fighter?
Yeah.
Say Honduras?
He's from
Honduras?
Oh, all right, okay. Possibly. He's 10-0.
What?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Terrible nickname, though. Just calling yourself
isn't it?
Venezuelan fighter. If he got, because who's it? Venezuelan Vixen. It's Pena, isn't it? Venezuelan Vixen. Yeah. That's okay, because you've got the double V thing going on. You've got the Vixen, and she's a female.
Exactly. This is too literal.
Yeah, exactly. This is just like
the human being.
Yeah, exactly.
The man.
Yeah. If I got in the cage, I'd be like the bald one. It's just stupid. It's just.
I quite like that.
Yeah, the bald one?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's actually good, yeah. So the Venezuelan fighter Moraes, 10-0, good record, versus...
That might be the worst nickname ever, that.
Omar, it's not even right?
I don't care about the Omar Moraes.
No, hold on, though, but it's not even it's Omar, Venezuelan fighter Moraes. It's bad.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
stupid.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't you tell him to his face?
Sometimes they sound like you had like a Moraes the boxer, and he was called El Terrible and stuff like that. And I like it when you get the non-translated names, because it does make you go, oh, wonder what that means. And they sound kind of cool, like Toquinho, wasn't it? Was that what was Paul Harris? He was called the Tree Stump, wasn't he?
That's right. Yeah, that's his one. Toquinho, or whatever. Yeah.
I like that.
Duba.
That's it, Masaran. Like those ones, you go, oh, I wonder what that means, and you look up to it. And sometimes they're pretty cool. You had Shoe Face and all that, right? But they sound pretty cool, because you're like Toquinho. It sounds cool because it flows with his name, because it's a Brazilian or Spanish Portuguese word. Sorry, you know what I mean? But it is a little bit of intrigue behind it. Just call yourself the Venezuelan fighter. Even if he translated Venezuelan fighter into Venezuelan, whatever language was, be that's a Spanish, Portuguese, whatever, then it would have been better. But just to say the Venezuelan fighter, it's almost like they made a mistake on his application form. Someone went to him, which fighter are you? And he went, I'm the Venezuelan fighter. And they put that in the nickname bit, or saying it's a mistake. He needs to change that.
I think it is a mistake.
It's got to be, isn't it?
I think it is. I mean, looking at his name on UFC, right? I've just told you his name is Omar, Venezuelan fighter Moraes. I can only go off what was on the broadcast. On UFC, his name is Omar Antonio Moraes Ferrer. So
Yeah, he's confused and he's made
Yeah, so he
some
obviously banned that and went, nah, listen, I know what I am. I'm proud of it. And that's all there is to it. He's fighting against Giga Chikadze. You like his record, 10-2.
7-2. You're not going to give me his nickname?
He didn't have one.
Ninja, apparently.
It didn't come up. Is it his nickname, is it?
Ninja, yeah. Don't really work. Giga Ninja doesn't work. That is a slight. It should work, but there's something. The jar and the guard don't rhyme. I think he thinks they rhyme and they don't.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Martinez did not announce that. So either he thought it didn't work and it don't flow and it's going to ruin his flowing speech, or, you know, he's done what Venezuelans should have done and gone, this don't work, let's just get rid of it. Think of a better one later. But it didn't come up. So Ninja, okay. All right. So before it started, Gooden said that many people were excited about this fight. That's actually what he said.
Right.
Well, what were they? I wonder where he got that impression from. Can you ask him when you see him in Watter's home base? I can't because home base is shit.
All I can think is that, I don't know, maybe he knows some Venezuelan people we don't know.
I just thought when it came up, when he said that, I thought, all right, okay, fair enough.
He must know some people from Georgia and Venezuela, because I can't imagine anyone was not being nasty, but these aren't guys who are that established in the UFC, so not the higher ranks yet. So why would it be a highly anticipated fight? Unless, of course, you've got big red Dana White in front of a whiteboard going, these are the things I know about, you know, that version.
I like that.
You know, they're not heavily established in the UFC yet, are they, to be fair? So.
Okay, look, I've got a question for you. This is how these podcasts, I'm going to say drag on because they're great. This is how these podcasts go longer than expected, right? But I have got a question for you. At the beginning of that fight, they came out and Moraes held his glove out, to do we're giving it some, you know what I mean? Touch the gloves before the fight. And Chikadze, he turned it down. So my question is quite simple. What do you think about fighters touching gloves before the fight, or not, or whatever? What's your stance on that? I've got one. What's yours?
Don't care either way. I don't think it's a sign of disrespect. Let's put it like that.
Don't you? So what about if you went into a meeting at work and the guy held his hand out to shake it and you turned that down? Is that disrespectful?
Yeah, but I'm not about to punch the guy in the meeting's facing or try and, you know.
No, but you are about to have a meeting and he's going, yeah, right, what's happening? And you're going to turn it down? Well, you said you don't mind either way. You'd either would or wouldn't take the handshake. If the bloke didn't take the handshake, would you have the ump with him? I would.
Well, look, you know, it
ain't quite the same, by the way, but I mean, you know.
It's dealt with different in main events and in boxing, so in general, because two fights at the start of every boxing match are brought to the middle. You can obviously still refuse a handshake, but I've seen people try and refuse a handshake before, and the ref has actually said, you know, stop messing around, shake hands, you know, this, that. So I've seen them actually force it.
To try and let them know this is sportsmanship.
Correct, yeah.
You know, leave it in the cage ring or whatever.
And this is a bit different because the main events, they do that. And as we've seen, lots of times people will turn down, Covington Woodley as a recent example. There was no glove touch there, was there? I think Woodley put his fist out and Covington rejected it. I think that was the most.
I don't think either of them did on that one, but okay, I can't remember.
I'm sure Woodley did.
Did he?
So I remember thinking.
Oh, you mean in the centre?
Yeah,
that's possible. Yeah, but not at the beginning of the fight. And neither of them did anything. But yeah, in the centre, that's possible. Yeah,
I think that was Woodley's best strike of the fight, to be honest. But
and that missed and all.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, but it came closer than the rest.
Yeah.
But the thing is when I say I'm not bothered, if you're asking me if I was a fights guy, I would touch gloves. So, you know, it's different, but in sparring, generally you touch gloves at the start of every round. And before a fight, especially in amateur boxing, you kind of don't really have a choice. You're brought to the centre of the ring and you just do it as a customary sort of thing. But it's not done all the time in the UFC. They don't bring them to the centre of the cage. I just don't have an issue with it as long as you're respectful after. So, say for example, that bloke we spoke about the other day, Kyler Phillips against Cameron Else. Remember he done that scream in his face after he won the fight.
Yeah.
That annoys me more than someone, say, who would reject a glove touch at the start of a fight because they're in the zone and they mean business. And also, as long as you show respect at the end of the fight, I'm all good with it. So, say, for example, Masvidal wouldn't have been able to knock out Ben Askren in the way he did if everybody just done that glove touch at the start of a round or at the start of a fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Masvidal was like, no, the bell's gone now. It's time for a smash. I know they had a bit of beef, but it's time for a smash. Me going up and doing a little pat in the centre is taking away a few seconds and a little window of opportunity for me to blaze you. Didn't BJ Penn do it to Carl Luno as well? Just ran across the cage and kneed him in the face and done punches against the cage. So yeah, I just don't have an issue with it. It's fight time now. That time where you go and you touch the ring, that is fight time where you could be fighting. So as far as I'm concerned, I would do it personally, but I'd have no problem with someone just going, "Nah, I'm fighting now," and you're gonna have to wait till the end. That's my personal opinion.
Oh, well, I like you. I've got no issue with them not doing it, but I just can't understand if they just don't do it. They don't do it, but I can't understand turning a touchdown because in what?
I just told you why.
No, we'll see. But in my point of view, so in martial arts, so you've mentioned it a little bit in the boxing. In martial arts, before you do anything with each other, so not standing at the front of the class and doing stuff, even then, you have the teacher going, go or whatever. It's not only is it sort of common practice and feels natural to do something to let them know we're about to do something. Doesn't have to be a glove touch, can be whatever. It's also what I've been told, if you know, it's what's been drilled into me.
Mm-hmm.
You bow, pay respects, whatever, before starting. And it's also to let the person know. It's also basically saying, "Are you ready?" without actually saying it. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's kind of like that, and then you both agree. Yeah, I'm all good. You let them know that it's all good to go. So I personally don't understand them not doing it. I don't have a problem if they don't do it, but I definitely couldn't turn one down, and I would always be the guy who holds it up. I think even for a bloke I didn't like and I had a problem with, I think I'd still hold it up and let them know we're ready to go. It's a little bit different, like you say, in a fight to training. It's a little bit different because the fight starts, like you say, from that end, and the fight started, hasn't it? You're agreeing to put a little halt to that fight by doing this. So it is different. I appreciate it is different. It's just that when people turn it down, I go, I can't believe you set the tone. But what I do think it does is it does set a tone. So if I went to do the glove touch and because sometimes you do it at the start before they even come out and he shakes his head as if to say, no, I ain't doing no glove touch. Honestly, it'd be like someone not giving me 20p change. I'd be crying about that. And I'm about to have a fight. And also, if I went over there and I did my glove up to do a touch and he unagreed it, I don't know if I'd be annoyed, but I think my nose would be put out of joint, if you know what I mean. And I do think mentally it would mess with me a bit, and I'd be, you wrong kit, turning that down, out of order. So it'd even make me annoyed and go, I'm going to smash your face in, or I'd be constantly saying throughout that first 5 minutes at least, going, about the glove touch, I'd be going back to the corner going, here. He didn't even accept the glove touch. I'm sure the corner would be going, listen, you stupid mug, don't worry about that. So I think it would mess with me. And maybe that's why they do it.
Man, and I got ripped off at 20p the other day.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But maybe that's why they do it. Maybe it is a bit of a...
Maybe. I just think for some people, they're in the zone now to have a smash. And that is sort of, if you like, disturbs that mental focus a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm saying it might be strategic.
He did a little look as if to say, like, all right, don't accept it.
He did, yeah. He sort of did tilt his head as if to say, like, all right.
Yeah.
So look,
you have to remember as well, sometimes people have offered the hand and then, done a dirty little duck under. Do you remember in the Ultimate Fighter house when the bloke went to shake his hand and he shot under and double-legged him and Bisping had to step in?
I do remember that, yeah.
But you've had it, do you remember, McGregor done it in one fight, but he didn't do a sucker punch. So, he came out with one of those sort of where his hand was out far reach, but I don't think he was doing a glove touch. That was his stance. And I think it might have been Mendes or someone went out to touch the hand and he'd done a spinning back kick to his gut. straight away, and it was like, oh,
That's right.
It's like, I don't think he was trying to be dirt. He came out in that stance. He wasn't trying to do a glove. It got mistaken for a glove.
I think so, yeah.
I just, either way, like I said, I would do it personally. I would offer the hand. Like you say, a lot of the time they put it up in when then hands are being announced. Their names are being announced. They put their hand up as if say like,
when we come out, yeah.
And people either agree or don't agree. So just, figure it out there. And if you're not going to do it, don't do it.
Of course, but I'm just saying that if it was me and someone did that to me, whether they meant it or not, it would be strategic.
Well, there you go. So that's in a way.
It's good. It's a good method. You don't do the glove touch, and it'd be like, right, listen, I've been taught to do this and respect. Anyway, he said it was going to be a good fight or was anticipating all that, and it weren't very good. It was a unanimous decision. But look, it wasn't a terrible fight. I don't know what you thought. It wasn't great. I know Morales got knocked down in round 3, but the ground and pound that Chikadze did on him was just a complete and utter mess. And what I did like about that bit was how Morales managed to get up. So, but other than that, I didn't have much else to say about this fight. I think Gooden would be let down by it.
I actually thought it was quite a decent fight, if I'm being honest. It ain't a classic. Ain't going to be one I'm going to be watching back. The fact that we spoke about what happened in the first 2 seconds of the round more than the actual fight is a little bit indicative. They weren't. It was a decent scrap, wasn't it? I mean, they both. What I liked about that Morales, I actually thought Morales looked all right.
Yeah,
yeah, I thought he looked decent, and I thought he had a good attitude. As in, even though he was getting a bit smashed in, he still looked like
That's what I'm saying. He had a bloke. Chikadze was doing loads of like ground and pound all over him after getting knocked down. He still managed to get back up. I did like that, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, and I think that Chikadze is quite good. I think he's got some decent, you'll know better than me, but he seems to have a decent variety of kicks.
Yeah,
a bit of a chin up in the air kind of guy when he's throwing his punches. I preferred that Morales is sort of had his chin tucked a bit more, but again he was swinging backhands a bit. Relying on swinging backhands a bit too much. Would have been better off. Why MMA fighters do not learn to throw a jab, I do not know. But he was a little bit sort of following him around, swinging sort of right hands and stuff. But I liked Morales' attitude, and he was fit and strong. And I thought that Chikadze had sort of a decent set of kicks, and
I think Gooden set it up too much for me.
I thought they're both decent.
No, Gooden, he got me all excited, and it was just, it was all right, but it wasn't up to the Gooden comment at the start, highly anticipated.
It's like that film, Silence.
No, it ain't like that film, Silence. That's an amazing film.
No, you built it up too much, though, so that when I watched it, it weren't as good as you made out, which made it seem worse to me. Whereas if you just let me watch it, I'd probably have gone, that was good, that film. But because you said, like, oh, you got to see this film, when I watched it, I went, ain't as good as you made out. That's what happened in this fight. It's another Silence. Right. What's the next fight?
It's a shame, because if I'm the cause for ruining that film or not making it as good as possible, then, if I'm to blame, it's not a good one. So, yeah, I do apologise. But
you told me all the best bits. You didn't just tell me that it was a good film to watch. You told me all the best bits as well. You definitely ruined it. So, never mind. I've forgiven you. What's the next fight? When I was in the next fight, wasn't I?
Yeah. No, because you're a bit more gritty. This guy had been to Nicolas and had everything flamed off, raw as hell, this guy, right? So this is Ali, ready for the nickname, the Royal Fighter AlQaisi. Ali, the Royal Fighter AlQaisi versus, oh, for God's sake, Tony Primetime Kelley. Now, the issue I've got with Kelley is he's got a first name as a last name, and he thinks he can do it because he's put an E in it again.
Yeah, same as Casey Kenny.
You can't just add an E to a surname and think it's enough to make it a last name. Kelley ain't a last name, right? And to be honest, it wouldn't be a great first name for a fella either. So the guy, Ali, the Royal Fighter, I mean, that is raw as raw can get, He's definitely been, I'm telling you, he's definitely flamed it and had the cotton wool on fire things in his ears, the lot. He's had the lot done. I don't even think he had eyebrows, did he?
Well, I don't know.
Why?
I wasn't looking that close.
You know what I mean?
What do you want to say about it? What do you want
What
to say
about?
about it?
Well, that's
Other than
well. I'm more interested in the fighters.
huh?
I'm more interested in the fighters and what they look like and their names.
All right. Well, look, prime time is one of the most boring nicknames you can get. I actually don't mind the start of Ali AlQaisi's name, the Royal. You know, after that, I was like, oh, this could be quite good. You know, if it was like the
No, it's
Royal.
not the Royal. It's the Royal Fighter. Oh, I say sorry.
But when I heard the Royal, I was like, oh yeah, what's the next bit going to be? You know, the Royal Prince, or you know, something that made it sound quite good. And then it went. It's just like we had the Venezuelan fighter, the fight before, and now we've got the Royal fighter. Now, you can leave out the bit fight a bit. You know what I mean? It's just.
It's true. Actually, it would have been better as just the Royal.
Yeah,
Or just Royal. It would have been better. I agree.
yeah.
The fighter
Or even
bit
like
ruins
Prince
it.
Royal or whatever. I don't know.
Well, what's going to happen if he ends up with an office job, say filing paperwork, and he's called the Royal Fighter? It's like, listen, bruv, that was, you ain't that. So leave the fighter bit out because you might need it for the office. Now you can't use it. No good. No good.
No, I didn't like that nickname. But I thought, I tell you, what I really did like about this fight, okay, right. The first round obviously went to AlQaisi, right? He had a lot of top control for the bulk of that round. But Kelley for me was a bit of a Dame Jackson. Where I was like,
I liked him.
He went back to the corner. I don't think he was perturbed. I don't think he was put off or anything. I think he was still looked to me mentally like thought he was gonna win the fight and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he kept that fight interesting.
Yeah, and he came out
attempts.
second round. Didn't he land a knee and he floored out AlQaisi, or he definitely rocked him?
Yeah, he did do a knee, but it's all his submission attempts that he did all the time. It was brilliant. I mean, it's good that that Crash got out of him, but it was the fact that he was constantly threatening submissions. So it was all right. He definitely kept that fight interesting.
That's right. Yeah, he was trying some triangles, wasn't he, from the bottom? He was definitely trying to finish the fight at every opportunity. And he sort of had a bit of a swagger, a bit of composure about him. He was kind of quite nonchalant the way he was walking forward. I don't know. I quite liked that Kelley. I thought he was decent. Throughout the fight. But I think the third round, wasn't the third round quite difficult to score? So, I think Kelley landed a really big knee, had that AlQaisi in all sorts of trouble. There was one round where he landed a knee, had AlQaisi in all sorts of trouble, but then AlQaisi had a lot of top control towards the end.
Yeah, he just fell on him after it.
Sorry?
Just fell on him like a blanket after the knee.
But
you have to, didn't you?
I was thinking to myself, are the judges going to go give it to the guy who had the top control for a reasonable amount of time in the round, or the guy who genuinely almost finished the fight by knocking the other guy out? Now, in my opinion, I'm glad they went for Tony Kelley because I think he deserved to win the fight.
I agree, he deserved to win the fight, yeah.
But I think AlQaisi definitely thought he got robbed because if you remember the decision, okay, so the decision was 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. So that means somebody won 2 rounds to 1 on 2 of the cards, and then one person won all 3 rounds on the other cards. And when I heard the 30-27, 29-28, 29-28, I assumed AlQaisi won because I thought
you assumed that he easy won?
I thought AlQaisi won because...
Well, you thought he easy won?
Sorry?
You thought he easy won? You've said that twice now. You thought AlQaisi won?
No. So what I mean
by... good, isn't it? No, you get it.
Oh, right. Okay, you're doing a good one on it. Yeah, I get it.
AlQaisi won.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't win easy.
Right.
He didn't win. But in my opinion, I was thinking that, again, round 1 was one of those difficult ones to score, right? AlQaisi got him down, had some top pressure, but Kelley had him in some submission trouble for a large part of the round. So
yeah, right. This ain't the main event,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that what I liked about it was when I heard that 30-27, I thought to myself, knowing judges, that means that AlQaisi's won this because I was pretty sure he got round 1 or would have got round 1 on all judge scorecards. And if you see Kelley's face when the scorecards being announced, when he hears the 30-27, he does a Omar Moraes, don't shake my hand face. He tilts his head and does a face if say like, I've lost this one then.
Yeah.
He does that face. And AlQaisi looks well happy. I mean, he looks like he's, guaranteed the win. And then it went to Kelley and you saw Kelley done a yeah, damn straight, and all that sort of stuff. And AlQaisi done a what the flip. But I agree. To me, it should have been 29-28, Kelley. But he definitely should have won. Now, the best bit about the fight was after it was over, AlQaisi tried to do that was a good scrap, man.
I thought it was mates.
Yeah, he tried to do it as mates, but that push in Kelley's chest was too much.
It's like a little hammer fist thump, like a...
Yeah, and Kelley didn't take kindly to it, did he?
I don't understand it, right? Because it looked friendly to me. It looked friendly, but I have to say that Kaisi did do the move. I rewound it to try and listen. What did he just say? But the only bit I did hear him say was mother effer. And I'm like, well, what? He punched him in the chest, said something, and then said that. And I thought, looked matey, but like you say, Kelley was like, nah, get lost or whatever. You run away the whole fight. And then they're just arguing.
I think Kelley was all right to be mates, but I think what happened is sometimes you get people who do that sort of maybe do a little slap around the face or whatever, and then they kind of grab you and hug you or whatever, that kind of thing. And AlQaisi done that, but that brethren, sort of we're mates pat on that chest to sort of like go, good scrap, kid. It was too hard.
It was a punch, yeah.
I told you when Graham punched me in the chest because I beat him on let's just call it FIFA. I beat him on FIFA in extra time after not cheating, but he was through on goal.
Oh, whoa! Cheating again?
No, it weren't cheating. Right? He was through on goal, so I hacked him down. Right, my last defender basically slipped through the back of his legs, so he couldn't get. And my player got sent off, so I got punished for it.
Yeah,
he didn't score from the
free
rules. And then I was down to 10 men, and then about 10 minutes later, with the last kick of the game, I went up the other end and scored, and he got so angry that he just turned around and punched me in the chest. And it was about the same power that AlQaisi punched Kelley in the chest. So believe me, when Graham punched me in the chest, I was laughing because obviously I'd just won in the last minute with the last kick of the game, so nothing could, dampen my spirits. But I do remember thinking, any other scenario, that punch in the chest, we could have an issue on our hands here. And I think that was what happened with Kelley. He thought, okay, if you want to hug me, shake my hand, say good scrap, you can do that. But don't punch me that hard in the chest. And I think that's why he reacted, pushed him off, and then called him a mother effer. And obviously it was a bit frosty after that.
It was, yeah.
And then obviously the fact that the decision was all a bit funky as well just made that fight good. Just made me really enjoy it, actually.
I agree. It did make that fight better. It's true. Gave it a bit of a story, didn't it?
Yeah, I loved the drama, yeah.
Yeah, quite good. So, yeah, maybe, I don't know if that, no, bantamweight there, that's very lightweight, because I was thinking he is like that Damon Jackson fella, but he's much bigger, wasn't he? He's probably a 170 or something, I can't remember.
He's definitely 170, I don't think, Jackson. He might be 155.
Was he? All right. Well, I'm just saying that would have been a good smash up because it's just the same bloke having a fight, isn't it?
They are similar. Yeah, I liked that, Kelley. I liked that.
Yeah, so did I.
I didn't think AlQaisi was very good personally.
Me neither. Not in that fight, anyway.
Yeah,
but he did what he needed to do. As in, he kept himself in that fight. Like you say, when he did get done with a knee and all that, he carried on fighting. Definitely a fighter. I don't know about a royal one, but he's definitely a fighter.
Took him down. Yeah, he didn't just sort of like stay in there. But he's striking's not very good. His head movements really predictable and stuff like that. So yeah, not great. But Kelley was all right. Kelley was scrappy. Kelley was good. AlQaisi, I think he did definitely show some good qualities. But yeah, not great.
All right. Well, next fight, Impa.
Bantamweight at the moment.
Yeah, Impa Kasanganay was 8-0 versus, say it as you see it, Joaquin, Buckley, Joaquin, New Mansa, Buckley. It's a middleweight fight. This one was. Favourite was Kasanganay, and Buckley won by a KO in round 2. And arguably the best KO I've seen, arguably. But I really like that Kasanganay. He's so calm. I liked it after round 1, the way he walked back to his corner. I like the corner chats. I like the way he was behaving with his cornermen. It was like having a chat with his mates. I really do like him. And Buckley's good. He's good powers, stocky, really muscly. I thought he was a bit loopy, loads of really powerful hooks. He puts everything into his punches, but his kicks, this is before what happened. I was like, well, this guy's kicks are really good. You can tell by his hips dexterity and stuff. I was like, this guy's kicks are really good. And he's absolute grief. And he totally reminded me of Melvin Manhoef, the style. Totally reminded me of him. The same body structure, the same, style of kicks, the same, loopy, hook, Tyson style, power punching as opposed to, jabbing and out and keep people on the outside and stuff like that. Definitely a Manhoef style. Absolute grief. Never want to have a smash with him ever. So I've got quite a bit to say on the finish.
Okay, can I just say a couple of things before you get onto the finish? I've got
absolutely. I did. I've spoken about the fight pre-finish. Yeah, that was all stuff pre the end of the fight.
Yeah. So the only things I wanted to say was one. I don't know if you know, but New Mansa. I don't know if this is what it's meant to mean, but that the word Mansa apparently means King of Kings. So
that's quite good. Like you said, and it makes you go, "What's that mean?"
Exactly. Yeah, I had to look out. Now,
otherwise, he could just call himself
Prime Time
King of Kings Buckley.
Yeah,
I think New Mansa sounds better.
Yeah, so do I. Kasanganay is Tishlobo, right? But
I like that. I don't know what it is, but it sounds all Japanese samurai. It sounds brilliant.
Well, I don't know what it means either, but I don't think it's Japanese, but it's just because of the way that the letters are structured. I don't think it's Japanese, but
I don't. You think you're some sort of like Jap connoisseur, do you?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, but we knew Kasanganay was good anyway because we really liked him in that Maki Pitolo fight.
That's
we really
right.
liked Maki Pitolo as well. But we said then that there was a lot to like about this guy, and for me, just because he's got knocked out, not much has really changed. He seems to have got quite a lot of attention for his attitude. So you've picked up on it, but a lot of people have said he was really nice, really humble, really respectful.
They were saying that, and obviously I didn't hear any of the pre-fight chat or anything like that, but just the way he was behaving literally in that fight, like I said, when he got up and went back to his corner, I liked even that, his mannerisms there. I loved the chats with the corner. He seemed like a brilliant bloke, is the truth. And that was in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I there's a lot to like about that guy. I think after that Pitolo fight, I think we were already saying that this guy's a top 15 sort of bloke in waiting, and nothing's changed my mind about it. I'm not now looking at it going, I think I made a mistake there, done a chain mills on it. I still believe that is what he is. I think he's a good fighter that's going to go on to bigger and better things. But this fight is one of those ones as well that could have gone either way. But he got caught with one of the most spectacular knockouts you're gonna see in a ring or cage ever, not just this year, but ever. And if you remember, we really liked Buckley as well. So he fought Kevin Holland.
Yes, he lost that, didn't he?
He did, and he is someone that I still look at and go, I think he fought Holland at middleweight, and this fight was at welterweight. Can you confirm?
No, this was middles.
It was middle, was it?
This was middleweight. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at him and just went, I think I could see that Buckley, trimming a bit of fat, not fat because he's obviously
he's got a good bod, yeah. But I know what you mean. He's big.
But he could trim a little bit off of that top half and probably get down to welterweight, and I think it'd be a real he's a handful.
I don't know if he's short. I'm just saying he looks short.
Yeah,
weight class. Not saying he's a short person. I'm just saying for that weight class, he looked quite short and stocky. And it's a good point. Maybe he would be better suited as a welter, even though he was amazing in this fight, and he was good in the other Holland fight as well. So
he was brilliant. I really liked him in that Holland fight, loads. And he's only 5'8". I mean, you'll find, he's probably shorter than Corey Sandhagen. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he'd have to fight, I don't know, Weidman and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And look, sometimes you can turn your size to your advantage, but I just think that he's going to be a problem at middleweight, but I'd really like to see him at welterweight. Listen, I know he listens to the show, so just, stop with the bench presses. And, he's 3 inches shorter than Sandhagen. who's a featherweight.
Mm.
So, but
But
that's
obviously
not
a lot bigger, a lot more muscly than someone like Sandhagen, a completely different body structure.
of
But,
course, yeah.
yeah.
But what I mean is he's going to be fighting people that are, potentially, I don't know, well, how tall's Kevin Holland? I mean, he's a big, tall guy, isn't he? So it's difficult, and especially like he seems to be very fond of hooky sort of punches, left hooks, throws a lot of,
Power punches.
exactly. And so, Tyson used that to his advantage against bigger guys in the heavyweight division, but this ain't boxing, and people have got a lot more tools at their disposal to keep you at distance. They got their legs, they got, sort of grappling and stuff like that if they need to. It's just, I don't know, I just find that, I don't know, he just don't look like a middleweight to me, but he's brilliant. He's really, really good. Both these guys are. Again, it's one of those fights where nobody's stock went down. I think they're both top 15. I look at both these guys and go, I'm sure I can pick out at least 5 guys in middleweight that I'd go, I fancy them to beat this guy. Even someone like a Weidman, not being funny, he's not looked good for a long time. I could see someone like Buckley stiffing out Weidman.
Mm.
I think, and I, as you know, we really like Weidman loads.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I could see him catching him with a left hook and banging him out.
Well, it's just too. It's the opposite of Weidman. Weidman looks a bit battle worn and fragile, and Buckley looks the complete opposite. He looks like a big, massive, thick tank who can take shots. Because let's be honest, he took shots in that fight and all. Kasanganay didn't do nothing just because he lost. He hit him loads.
There was no point where he done sort of like a chicken dance or anything like that. But there was a couple of shots where he was left looking into space a little bit longer than you should do after getting hit, which made he's definitely had his bell rung there. Both fighters definitely got their bell rung a fair few times.
100%. It got them thinking, didn't it? It sort of stopped them in their tracks for a bit, and they had to sort of regroup and then, right, I'm going to go in for another hornet's nest, you know?
Wouldn't these guys, both of these, like, forget the finish, right? The finish was the cherry on top, but it probably detracts too much from the fact that both these guys are actually really quick, strong, athletic, new, young, hungry middleweights. I'm sorry,
these
they're
are
better.
Brilliant.
Most of those, if I go on that UFC ranking page for middleweights now, there'll be a lot of, like you say, shop-worn, weathered guys that are there because they've been around for years. But these are guys that I would already go, no, they're going to take out a fair few of these top 15s. Those top 15s are under, they're going to be under siege from these blokes. I like both of these guys loads, and that's pre-knockout. That's the spinning back kick knockout. There you go. Now you can fill your boots and talk about the knockout if you like.
Yeah, all right. So we'll discuss the knockout, the well-documented, viral knockout. Because it was the talk of the night, even though loads of stuff happened that night. But if you don't mind, I'm going to have a chat about what happened. So, Buckley for a left kick, and it was scooped to one side by Kasanganay. Now, you do train that move. That is a normal, legit technique to not block, but deflect, if you like. So obviously you're not blocking it, are you, with something solid? You're sort of swooping it and scooping it away from you. Now, wrong with that. I'm telling you now, he didn't, in essence, Kasanganay didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with what he did, grabbing the sort of heel, ankle, bit of the foot and scooping Buckley's leg away from him. Nothing wrong with it. Now, obviously in training, this is all well and good saying this now, right, after the event. But if he wants to know how to fix this problem, maybe his coaches know, maybe they don't, right? I can fix it. Because
sorry to interrupt, but is it really a problem, or is he just a victim of, if you like, a moment of inspiration from Buckley? Because often I hear people say stuff like, oh well, I don't know, he made this error and that's why he got banged out. But a lot of the time I think it's a little bit harsh because they're errors that continuously happen in fights because there are a lot of variables.
Nope.
And sometimes you just get unlucky that lightning strikes in a, and, he could catch that kick a million times from a million different fighters and never, ever get,
that's right,
sweaty face. And he's just done like, so is there anything really technically wrong with what he done?
Yeah.
Or was just the victim of circumstance, so to speak, or a moment of inspiration? That's what I want to know.
No, he's done something wrong.
Okay, in your opinion.
Okay, well, if he did what you're supposed to do, technically, which is much easier in training than it is in a real fight. So I understand that this is easier said than done. You know, it's easy when you're having a bloke who isn't actually trying to kick you initially. He's, you know, a slow left kick coming in. It's like now they leave their leg dangling out there so you can grab it. In training, it's not the same.
And obviously you know the kick's coming because it's a moving.
Well, that's how, right. This is practice, right? That's all it is practice. But it doesn't matter. When you practice that scoop deflection technique, there are things you learn when doing it. And yes, you do not get taught someone might do a spinning back kick in your face while holding the ankle. No, you don't get taught that. That's one of the reasons he got caught with something that he wasn't expecting, if you like. That's not the typical counter to having your leg scooped and swept away. It's not a typical counter to do, right? So they don't practice it. They don't train it. They certainly do not train it in Thai boxing, in Muay Thai. You know why? There's no spinning back kicks in there. So there's no spinning back kicks to train it. It's like Taekwondo, right? There's no elbows. So they're not going to train defense against elbows, hence why you do mixed martial arts, right? But it doesn't matter. If he did it to the T as you're taught, that kick wouldn't have hit him. And that is all there is to it, because his head wouldn't have been there. The technique is, a lot of people I heard say things like, oh, he held on to the leg too long. Not really, right? But you could say that. But even that, it doesn't matter. If you are going to hold on to the leg, because let's put it this way, it was speeds, right? He didn't really hold on to it for that long. It was pretty quick. But the point is, there's two things he could have done that you get taught. If you're going to hold on to the leg or the ankle, the foot part, you raise it, you lift it up. Mm-hmm. Don't keep it on that level, which is Buckley's balance, right? Because as you can see, if you just scoop it away like that, Buckley just, if you didn't move, if you stopped at that point where he scooped it and Buckley didn't kick, Buckley's just, he's not falling over, he's not off balance or anything like that. You're supposed to lift it up. When you lift it up like that, believe me, that kick, that standing leg is not coming up in his face. That's the first thing.
Because your body mechanics are all wrong. You're basically off balance. Yeah, it's like you're doing it up a hill or something.
Can't do it. So the idea is you don't do that and then just leave it there. You scoop it and raise it up, because the counter to it is to kick his standing leg away, sweep him, right? That's the counter to it. You could just sweep it away, but, you know, the idea is that you counter as well. So the counter is to sweep the leg away.
Well, if he was going to do the counter you're talking about, like kicking the leg, then he did hold it too long, because there is definitely sort of like a, you know, you see it a lot, don't you, in Muay Thai, where people catch a leg and they instinctively go bang and sweep out the back leg.
That's right.
You know, ends up on the floor. He didn't catch the leg and then go bang, you know, have him on the floor. So
he didn't.
You know what I'm saying? He did hold it so long. I agree with you, he didn't hold it for ages, but there might be an argument that's like, if you're going to hold a leg like that, like you say, you either raise it up to compromise their balance, maybe get a takedown, or you do the Muay Thai thing and just bang that back leg out and sweep them to the floor. Now, and he done neither.
That's right. But no matter what, like I said, if he did do what he gets taught, I'm sure he will get taught this in the gym. It's difficult in a fight, obviously. Doesn't matter, that foot wouldn't have hit him in the face. So raise it up. Even if he didn't sweep the standing leg, doesn't matter. That technique is now not happening from Buckley. You can't do it, right? It wouldn't happen because he's now off balance. If anything, if you raise it up, he will now fall over into, say, like a forward roll or something like that. He'll fall out of it. That's one way of escaping it, rather than just leaving it there, right? Because it wasn't long. He didn't have long to make a decision. If you watch it closely, he does go to move in. He actually moves into that back kick. Yeah. So he was going to do something.
Just as Buckley throws the kick, he starts to move his right leg in as if he's looking to maybe either grab him around the waist possibly or something like that. That's what I noticed. He started to advance just as that kick gets released, so to speak.
That's right. So he was definitely ready to counter and do something, you know. So he knows what's going on. But the main thing, even if he didn't raise it, the main thing you get taught in that is as you scoop that leg around, you step out to your right. Had he had done that, his head wouldn't have been in the centre and that kick would have missed. It's that simple. That kick would have missed. You're supposed to look. I'll show you. People can't.
I would say he's spinning.
I'll show you. Right.
Well, let me just get it in my head. So he's spinning Buckley round to Buckley's right, and he exits to his right. So the opposite direction to what Buckley's going in.
So left leg comes in. You scoop it out. When you scoop it out, you're taught to scoop this and do this.
Yeah,
his
that
leg
makes
is
sense.
over there. His lead leg is there. If he does the back kick, it's going to miss. You're not taught to do this, right?
But
not only that,
I suppose you're also using the momentum of the parry of the foot to push yourself in the opposite direction as well, right?
Exactly. You're supposed to move out of the way of it. Because when you come off the line, like in boxing, now you've come off the line, it sets you up for that counter. And the counter there, that would have just cracked him in the ear. Or let's just say he's too far away. It doesn't matter. You're away anyway. But you don't stand there straight. You scoop and you step out because you're stepping out to have that counter. So had he done what I'm sure he's taught in the gym, and if he ain't, all he needs to do is listen to the Ultimate Fighting Chat podcast.
Yeah, just leave us a comment.
Yeah.
And we'll pop around the gym. Show you.
Now, I've let him know how to fix it. That is how you fix that problem.
If you get that kick again, you're going to be really angry, I imagine.
Exactly. So people say, but you don't know because you're not going to train that in the gym. No, you're right. You're not going to train the spinning back kick, but you don't know what's going to happen. What you do know is no matter what, you take your head away and off the centre line, because then no matter what happens, there is no counter for Buckley. If you do it right, if you do that scoop technique right, there is no counter for him. You know, even if he threw, say, a spinning back fist off of that instead of lifting his leg off the canvas and did a spinning back fist, you're not there for it. You're not there for it. And he's got no balance.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think, people sort of say, oh, you don't train for something like that. It's like, if it's not necessarily that you're training for someone who's going to throw a spinning back kick at you, you're training basically to limit the chances somebody has of striking you by being in the right position at the right time. And he didn't do that because he kept himself, if you like, in that centre line where, like you say, when he let go of Buckley's leg, Buckley used that momentum to swing around with a spinning back fist, as you said. Could have been in that. And so it's that's what annoys me sometimes about fighting, when people go, oh, he made that mistake there and that mistake there. There is some truth to it. You're trying to find a reason why somebody got done, but there's so many variables when you fight. I was talking to my brother, who, as you know, is an ex-professional, and he was always saying, listen, there's always a counter for every counter, and that's the problem. When you get, because I remember I was teaching somebody something in the gym, and somebody came over and done, a bit of a gym faux pas, in my opinion. You shouldn't come over and show a trainer up when they're teaching something, because
you try and show a trainer up. You mean?
Well, somebody came over. I was teaching something. There was nothing.
He never showed you up, did he? He tried to show you up.
Oh, no. My brother didn't. But what I was talking to him about a situation in the gym where I was showing somebody a technique, and another coach came over, and in front of the person I was showing and all that, started going, no, you shouldn't do that. You should do this, or don't do that and do this. And it made me look and feel like a bit of a mug, if I'm being honest. Because I'm like,
quite a typical feeling, quite something you're used to.
Exactly, yeah. You're undermining me, right? And I said to my brother after, I said, look, there's definitely nothing wrong with that technique I was showing at all. This person came over halfway through and thought they were, a know-it-all, whatever. And I went through the technique with my brother, and he went, no, there's nothing wrong with what you were teaching there. At the end of the day, there's a counter for every counter. So it don't matter. It's about playing percentages. We know, right? Anyone can get banged out at any time, especially in this sport with, shins, knees, 4-ounce gloves and all that sort of stuff. So the thing with this Kasanganay knockout is he was just on the receiving end of a moment of inspiration. And
correct. He didn't know it was going to get in. He just threw it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this isn't a Jason Bourne movie. And, we've already said Buckley's amazing. Really liked him from the Kevin Holland fight. And so, he definitely meant to throw that kick with the intention of knocking him back. But he could throw that kick 1,000 times and it never land. You see it all the time, don't you? People doing, I don't know, whatever, a cartwheel kick, and it never lands. It's the Pettis kick, the Showtime kick. He threw it, it landed, great. But he could throw that kick another 100 times and he'll miss, or catch his toes in the cage and fall over and look like a mug. It was just a moment of inspiration. And as you said, Kasanganay could, if he took a different path, have avoided it. But come on, how many people have caught kicks in the UFC and ended up getting banged out like that? I mean, it's
None.
7,000.
But that's why you keep your fundamentals. That's why no matter what, you do the techniques properly, because even though he's not expecting a spinning back kick off of that scoop, because like I say, they don't train that, don't matter. You move your head off the line for a reason. There's a reason for that. It's to put you in the right place to counter, admittedly, but obviously it's a defensive thing as well. In this case, it would have been a defensive thing as well. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he messed up or anything like that. I'm just saying that if he kept to it's hard to do strict basics and stuff in a fight. It is a fight. It's totally different. So I understand. I'm just saying, if he did exactly how that technique, that deflection is taught, his head wouldn't have been there. He wouldn't have got kicked.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
but it was just, like I say, it's lightning in a bottle. It's a kick that he could catch in exactly the same fashion another 1,000 times.
He didn't feel in danger.
And nothing like would ever happen again. You know,
he didn't feel in danger.
I'll do a Bruce Willis on it. You know, he's the wrong man in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's right. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
And, but now, can I just say something as a guy who don't know anything, not anything, but don't know much about kicks, you know, not Muay Thai or kickboxer or whatever. When I was speaking with someone about it, before I spoke with you, I hope that doesn't upset you that I was speaking with someone else.
No, it doesn't upset me in this instance because I got the real cream of the crop and got the podcast version. Whatever chats you had between you and this non-real mate is nothing, means nothing. This is the real. This is the real chat.
It was pretty special. But I just said from my point of view, when the kick was caught, I felt the way he scooped it out, and maybe that kind of plays into what you were saying of you should raise the angle of the foot or raise the level of the foot or the leg, should I say?
You got to get him off balance.
He kind of almost gave Buckley. Obviously, Buckley was amazing and athletic to throw with this, because most people would have spun around, you know, and then just carried on fighting. But he kind of gave Buckley the momentum. He gave his body the momentum by shifting that foot and almost spinning Buckley around.
Yeah, and he gave him a little shelf.
Yeah, and it's almost like,
on,
you know, like when you give someone a foot up over a wall or something like that, he kind of gave Buckley the momentum
and the leverage
that led to his own downfall. So if he just caught that foot and just held it still, Buckley wouldn't have had that momentum to spin round and go bang. The only time he throws that kick is when Kasanganay actually starts to spin that foot around a little bit, and you see that Buckley kind of looks over his shoulder because he knows now, look, I've got to spin around because this guy's spinning me round. Yeah. And as he spins around, he kind of thinks, well, I'll try and stick a foot in his face, and obviously he did. So yeah, like you say, maybe when he pushed that foot away, if he raised it up in the air, even only say 10 degrees or something,
correct,
it may have taken away that
balance.
Yeah, that
leverage,
balance,
everything. Yeah,
to throw that kick. So shame for Kasanganay, because he, you know, we like him from this fight and his previous fight. But you know, again, it's another one of those fights where I don't think, obviously, Buckley's stock has gone up massively, but I don't look at this and go, oh, Kasanganay's taken a real hit. I don't think so. I think, you know, it was a good fight up to it when it happened. Good for the show. I think Dana would be like, nah, brilliant, Kasanganay. You know, a lot of people have spoke favourably about his attitude, and the bloke seemed to have kind of like the bloke.
Yeah.
You know, I think, again, don't matter. You lost one, but I still think his stock will be up, and he's still brilliant. And, you know, he's still going to be a top 15 gizzer, I think.
Nah, he's amazing. It means nothing. It's just a shame that is going to get played over and over and over again, and he's on the end of it. So it's a bad one.
Yeah, any card when he's on, you know, when Buckley's on any card, if I was Kasanganay, I wouldn't watch it. I'd be like, call me when the Buckley fight's over. Because I am not watching that boot 10 times every he's on. And, you know, all those shows where they do, you know, best, he's going to have to sit through, you know, Helwani going, and the MMA knockout of the year 2020 is...
I'm telling you.
Buckley, and he's just going to be like, oh, for flips. I bet he can't wait for the next year to just go so he can go.
That's never going, but that knockout's never going.
Of course it's not. I put something on the other day. It was because Barboza was on a card the other day. I saw the Terry Etting knockout. Etting must hate watching the UFC.
Yeah.
He must hate it. He must be like, I'm going to get that bloody knockout played at least once a month.
Well, that's the problem. You can forget it yourself, get over it, move on, etc., etc. But you kind of can't if it's televised and it's on a popular, sport where things get repeated, and he's probably going to get it tweeted to him in gifs and everything. I mean,
what about Askren? I mean, Askren, he only has to tweet about Bitcoin, and somebody will tweet him that knockout.
Bizzers with the Dan Henderson one, he gets that rammed down his throat all the time, doesn't he?
He does, but it's not as bad. I'd say the worst one I've seen, the worst pylon, has been Askren. Like I say, the guy can just tweet about, like I say, Bitcoin or wrestling, and somebody will do the Masvidal sort of fifth collapse celebration, or he can say, I don't know, Bitcoin's market rate has collapsed today, and they'll be like, not as bad as your collapse, v Masvidal, really crap stuff, really obvious stuff. Yeah. He'll never escape that knee.
No.
Etim will never escape that kick, and now Kasanganay will never escape that kick.
No, so, not ever. The other things will happen; it will calm down, but it will always be there. That is definitely the most annoying thing for him. And just one more thing that he could have done. It's like anything; you've got to think about all these things. The same. You throw a jab. What's the thing you get told? You throw it and you bring it back to your face as soon as possible, or back to a defensive position as soon as possible. So if you notice, if you're grabbing on or holding on to someone's ankle or foot, your left hand. Kasanganay's brilliant. The proof of it is if you look at his position, if you pause it and look at his positioning, he's got his right hand up guarding his head through the whole of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he's nothing guarding his left. Now, that foot came straight. But had he had dropped it and let go, he at least would have had this come up quick, and he may have been able to get out of the way of it. But it doesn't matter. If he did the technique properly, his head would never have been there, and that's all there is to it. But like I said, there's another thing to be said of if you do something defensive or whatever it is, or even offensive, like a jab, is get your guard back as soon as you can.
Like you say, he had nothing else. Because if you actually look when he catches that kick, the one where he spins Buckley round, he's like you say, he's brilliant because he's got that hand covering his whole face. I mean, he's got,
in the heat of the moment, he's still defending himself. Yeah,
but it's that sort of style of guard that Poirier's been using a lot lately. Really, Peter Yan uses it as well. So like almost putting your whole hand across your face, so your fingers across your temples up, and he does it as the first kick, the left kick lands. He's actually blocking up here and then moves his left hand over to catch the kick. So like you say, he's completely defended. And even when the spinning back kick lands, he's still got that hand all covering his temple and that side of his...
That's right.
He's just lucky that, like I say, lightning in bowl. And good for Buckley because it's obviously something he practices.
Yeah.
He got his just boards, right?
Of course. Brilliant. You can't just do that. You have to train that. The move. Yeah. You have to train the move, just the motion, whether you're getting it in someone's face or not is irrelevant. You have to train that motion. It's not something you can just do overnight. So he's brilliant. It was good. It made for, the whole card was pretty interesting anyway. It had some other good stuff, which we'll get to later, but that was amazing. And quite possibly, I don't think there's a knockout I've seen that's better or more impressive than that. But actually, speaking about this guard, this close guard, there's another technique to this. So a lot of kickboxers or Muay Thai people do use this guard, this really close one, because obviously they have to defend against kicks, and kicks that is a big limb. It's much heavier than, say, a punch. So even if someone's not that good at kicking, just throwing that big limb at you is very heavy. Some of the thought process behind that is if you have it next to your head, you just take the force of the kick. But if you have it out and you don't have a good bridge and you have a loose guard and the kick, your own hand can hit you in the temple and wobble you, which you have seen happen in the UFC, right? People take kicks and the kick follows through a bit, and you go, oh, he blocked that, but his own hand will hit him in the side of the head, and that's what the wobble is. That's what the wobble is. What you got to do if you know that kick's coming, you rather than absorb it on that hand because the kick is going to win, you need to shove this guard out. Only if you can see it coming, you know what I mean? But that's why I think it's part of the reason why they have it so close, so that they don't do that, and knock themselves out.
Yeah, essentially like putting on a little crash helmet, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but brilliant fight. That enjoyed it, and I will do the run of the mill thing. and talk about knockouts. I said to the boy, do you think you've seen a better knockout than that? Now, I think your reaction should be, what are you asking him for? He don't know now about UFC or whatever, right? You're right. But the reason he's a good person to ask is because he does just see the viral stuff. So if anything, he'll have more of those. We watch all the crap and all. We watch ciphers and everything, right? He don't have ciphers. Ciphers don't come up on his blower. So he will have just all the good knockouts and all that. You know, when I see him, that's all it is. Have you seen the fights? And I knew it straight away. Now, I had seen that fight and I went, yeah, you're talking about that spinning back kick to the face, right? And he went, yeah. So I asked him, is there any others that you think are better than that? And like I said, you could go, we don't watch UFC like we do religiously. So he's barely seen any, but he's seen all the good ones. He's seen all the major ones, you know, seen them all. And there was two, he said. One was Pettis off the cage in WEC, and I got rid of that one because I said we didn't knock him out with it. So I got rid of that. Impressive move. I'm just saying, I went, yeah, but that weren't a knockout. So I banned that one. And then the next one he said, without looking at his blower or anything, which is proof that he gets to see all this stuff, he said the Yair Rodriguez Korean zombie, you know, ducking under and elbow up. And I do think that's a good one.
I think that's a good one as well. Yeah, I wouldn't have remembered it either. So
me neither.
Good of him to remember it. I mean, it depends on what you classify as if you like, a great knockout. And sometimes, you know, like say for example, you know, if you're saying most vicious, you might say something like Henderson Bisping, you know, or something along those lines. If you're talking about most explosive or most exciting or most unexpected, you know, there's sort of different criteria, you know. So the Barboza Etim one, obviously the way that sort of Etim's body just went stiff and he fell and he done a twist face and all that sort of stuff. It's you know, that was pretty. I always thought that would be hard to beat, that one, just for that sheer sort of. It's that sort of one that my mum, my mum was in the room and saw Terry Etim get knocked out like that, she'd have been like, "This isn't legal, is it?" Or you know, that's what she'd say, and I'll go, "Yeah, it's legal, all right." You know, so I guess there's different criteria.
There is, but some criteria I don't agree. So a lot of criteria I was hearing was things like, oh, the Ronda Rousey head kick from Holly Holm because of the stakes, and it was such a shock. It's like, no, it's still just a head kick. It's still just a left head kick. It doesn't matter that it was on Rousey and it shocked the world and no one knew it was going to happen.
It wasn't a shock. It was. I'll tell you why.
It wasn't for us, no.
No, but even more so than, like, you're thinking, like, we knew that Rousey's striking was absolute dog do. For, you know, even though Dana was trying to tell Mike Tyson that she's got hands now, you know, she didn't. Well, she did have hands, but they were just no good at it. But
she had hands; they were just on the end of her wrists, but that's it.
Yeah, and she used to box like her hands were on the end of the wrong wrists. That's the problem. But the thing is it, to me, that knockout wasn't a shock, because what preceded it was, if you like, a couple of minutes of beatdown where I was like, any second now she's going to get blazed out here, because she was running into shots, she was running out of breath, she had a bleeding nose, she looked confused, she'd been wobbled. So when that kick came, it was just sort of like, well, you know, that's put an end to this now. You know, it's kind of like,
I agree.
So that's why that didn't have that same shock value for me. This Buckley one had a bit more shock value, because it was an even contest by both guys that looked like they, like I said earlier, they had their bells rung in the fight, but there was no one that you were like, well, this guy's slowing, or this guy's tiring, or this guy's getting on top. It was still a completely 50-50 fight. And then out of kind of nowhere, it was just like bang, and he's out. So I don't know, you know.
And technically, it's way more impressive than a left high kick.
I think so. Yeah,
you've got two people involved. Name another knockout where you have
Barboza as well, right? That's an amazing. You know, he's
correct, right?
Yeah.
But there's no other knockout where you have two people involved in the result. That knockout, the Buckley one, doesn't happen without Kasanganay's hand and body being part of it. They're both part of it. That doesn't happen. Doesn't happen in the Etim fight. Just Barboza threw an amazing kick and it hit Etim in the head. This is different. These, like you say, you use a good term, lightning in a bottle. This is that, because, like I said, you need Kasanganay to be part. He's part of that knockout, and not just because he was on the end of it. he made that kick possible. And I can't think of another one like that.
I'll give you another brutal one that was exciting. I'll do a run of the mill off your seat. Beer bottle goes flying.
Did you go off your seat?
No, but I didn't
can't imagine it.
Drink, but the other one is Barry Congo. That's not.
Yeah, that's the whole fight, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but that knockout, just because he did genuinely look like he'd been taken out by a sniper in Rose Ed, and obviously it was a last Hail Mary swing. It was an exciting fight anyway.
It's amazing yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be the last bit of violence Czech Congo's delivered in a cage, and that was a long time ago. That fight, he's had an amazing career of having fights, but without hurt.
He does a Bruce Lee. It's the art of fighting without fighting.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, can't argue with that. If he's listening to the Bruce philosophy, then he's brilliant, right? He's going in there, getting unscathed. Yeah.
As far as heavyweights goes, him and Ngannou are probably the two most impressive looking heavyweights of all time. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Wicked. All right, let's get on to the next one.
No worries. The next one is Chris Daukaus versus Rodrigo Yogi Bear Nascimento, who's 8-0. This is a heavyweight fight. I'm sure you noticed that it was heavyweight. There's another couple of sagbods, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll say that Daukaus, I know you said at the end, who was it? It kept going on, and it's your speed, your advantage.
Crap.
Dan Hardy, wasn't it? Your speed's your advantage. It's not like he was Mighty Mouse. There's quicker heavyweights out there that are, packing more pounds than him. But there is something to be said for the fact that he was about 220. Because I looked at him and I thought, if he carries on training hard and eating right, he's a 205er.
Yeah, but you're right. They did talk about the speed, and he did ask him at the end, your speed, blah, 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 when he chatted to him in the cage after. But to me, the punch that done him, it's the slowest punch I've ever seen, worse than Ed Herman. It was actually the slowest thing I've ever seen. And yet they were going on about the speed. I was sitting there going, oh my God, that is actually the slowest punch I've ever seen. I can't even understand how that Nascimento didn't block it or dodge it. Honestly, it's the slowest thing I've ever seen, ever.
Trying to punch at the same time, wasn't he? So I think as Daukaus threw that, he threw that lead left hook, and I think he still should have blocked it, by the way, because I think so. He threw sort of like Nascimento threw sort of a check hook or something like that. So he still had his right hand in the right position to block that shot. He just didn't.
Crap.
And same as you. But what I did like about that Daukaus is, was he a copper or something?
Oh, I don't remember. I didn't notice that.
I'm pretty sure at the end they said like he's a copper or something. Still works as a copper. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure.
Misremembering.
And if
misremembering. Well, is that real? Just hold on a minute. What, misremembering?
Yeah. Look it up.
No, look it up. I don't need to.
I'll look it up now.
Go on then. There's no such word as misremembering.
I ain't getting mugged off live on bloody podcast. There you go, misremember. Ain't even a contentious one. Remember imperfectly or okay, verb. Remember imperfectly or incorrectly. All this sounds fanciful and is perhaps misremembered. That was the example.
I stand corrected. I can't believe it.
Yeah. There you go. So.
Well, my apologies. You're bloody brilliant.
Yeah, well, Mr. Perfect. I think we agree.
Yeah, well, we know that. Yeah.
But I like those guys who still have sort of, decent. What am I talking about? Those blokes who have, just normal 9-to-5 jobs, but still go in there and have a smash. A bit of a Stipe Miocic. Now,
and Ronnie Coleman.
What did he do for a living?
He's copper.
Brilliant.
The Olympia, like Mr. Olympia. Yeah, he had that's what people couldn't believe, that he had a 9-to-5, a Powers 9-to-5, and was winning Mr. Olympia.
What do you reckon his unit? What size was his uniform? Do you reckon?
Ooh, blimey! I'm obviously it was tailor made. Must be. They wouldn't have one of them in stock, would they? Amazing. No. So yeah, I like that.
Let me just. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I agree with you. I like it that people still have job. Ain't Buckley got a job? I think Buckley's got a job, a normal job.
I mean, I always find it weird when, unless you're a real top fighter, that you don't have a job. Just because I know obviously it's become, a talking point about how bad the UFC pay is for the lower end fighters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the same even saying boxing and stuff like that. Unless you're one of the top tier guys, you ain't doing that full time. You're talking about, I don't know, like if you're an undercard fighter, sort of in this country, I'll bring up again my bro. He was like getting paid like about 800 quid to £1,000 for a fight.
Mm.
And once you take out stuff like your promoter fee, your paying your coaches, your nutrition and all that up until the fight, paying for coaching full stop. There ain't much change out of that when you come out of it. Certainly not enough to do it full time.
Well, no, of course.
Unless, of course, you're a journeyman who fights basically every weekend and isn't interested in winning. You're just interested in fighting every weekend and getting your 800 quid to £1,000 or whatever. And, you're making a few grand a month or something. But even then, it's not great living, right? You're still only looking at 30 to 40 grand a year tops, I'd have thought. So a hard living. So I find it unbelievable that people do it full time before they've actually made a name for themselves. But yeah, I like people who still do their normal 9 to 5 and make a go of this. So that's good for him. But it just quickly on that knockout.
What, the slowest one?
Yeah, as he throws that left hook.
Yeah, I didn't even say that Daukaus won by KO in round 1, by the way. For everyone who's listening.
Yeah, all two of you. Me
and you.
As he throws that left hook, like I say, Nascimento throws a check left hook. He does a real run-of-the-mill basic thing. As he throws his punch, he drops the hand that's supposed to be up by your cheekbone.
Yeah, very typical, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when people throw jabs and naturally their right hand, if they're orthodox fighter, will drop down to the hip. It's it should be drilled. It should be drilled out of you if you're a professional fighter. But anyway, as he throws his check hook, he sort of cycles his right hand down. That's why he gets caught, because his right hand, it comes down and out away from his cheekbone, and that's why the left hook lands. So he's only got himself to blame. He shouldn't have been getting caught with that shot. That's
it was so slow.
Yeah, it really shouldn't have got caught with that. It's a real basic fundamental error. But nice to see the small guy win. Really
small.
The guy that was. Well, I mean, he was about 20, 30 pounds lighter than Nascimento and all that. That's what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I mean, look, the bloke got up after getting done by the slowest punch ever. Wasn't the punch that done him, but he got up and then got done by exactly the same second slowest punch ever. So it was a bit weird, but it was better than a 3-round saggy decision. At least something happened. It was all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It didn't give you long enough to go. I don't really like this fight, because what was it over in about 45 seconds? So,
yeah.
And like I say, good to see, that knockout and all that sort of thing. I mean, not if you're in Nascimento's corner, obviously, but yeah, like you say, when he got back up, he just got banged straight back down.
Same thing. Yeah.
Exactly the same left hook. Yeah, just copy and paste. How many of those left hooks do you want to eat, bro?
Oh my goodness me! So the next and the last fight on the prelims, and then we'll end it there and do a separate show for the main card, was Tom Breese versus KB the Bengal, another one who's just telling me what he is. The Bengal Bhullar. Now, it was Bengal Bhullar's debut and a very impressive record, 8-0. But you had stuff to say about him before I'd even seen the card. You said you saw him out the back, the punches out the back, and went, he ain't real and he ain't winning, just from the shadow boxing out the back. And I have to say, Breeze won by a KO in round 1. So you weren't wrong. You wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I mean, first thing I'll say is Breese is massive, isn't he? I mean, he's another Luke Rockhold. He should be working for Abercrombie and Fitch or something like that.
I mean, the bod on it is amazing.
Yeah, but a bod, he's got a good face and all, and
he has a good face, yeah.
He's just, he's got it all. He should be out there laying broads and,
He probably is.
Yeah, I imagine he is as well. But you should be doing that and, advertising polo shirts and perfume or something. But, if he wants
I don't think he should follow too much in Rockhold's footsteps. There's a few things that Rockhold does where I'd go, I'll leave that bit. I take the Ralph Lauren deal. I'll take the face and the bod. Hey, leave
I'll take about the first 15 fights. I'll take about the first 15 fights of his career and all. But I'll leave out
so
about
good. Yeah. He honestly used to be amazing, Rockhold. There you go.
Yeah, as you know, I thought he was going to be sort of the middleweight linchpin for a long time. When he got the belt. I
agree. Amazing.
Obviously, our mate Bisping went, see to that. Yeah. Don't worry, boys.
That's the end of it. Yeah.
Look, you take care. Brilliant. That's one that got me off my seat. You said earlier, I can't imagine you ever getting off your seat. When Bisping knocked him down and all that, I was off my seat.
I don't remember being off my seat, but yeah, that's probably the most excited I've been, I reckon. Biz is doing Rockhold.
I was off my seat. I was off my seat because I still thought, when Rockhold got up immediately after, I was like, oh, damn it. He hasn't capitalized. He's going to, he's going to get back in this fight and do Bizzers. But then Bizzers caught him with that rubbish Daukaus style left hook.
Brilliant.
When he stands up and that little left hook that knocks Rockhold back down.
Yeah.
I know he was all mashed up, and scrambled. But that left hook, I could have taken that left hook. It didn't look like it had, the pep on it to.
You're saying Bizzers has got pillow fists?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so we've been led to believe.
Mm.
But all crushed up against the cage with a confused face. Brilliant.
Yeah, he was crushed up against the cage, exactly the same crush up when Romero done him.
Yeah,
it was the same crush.
Yeah,
it's because same thing. Punch while you're crushed.
It's because when he goes back in a straight line. He's back hits the fence. And he got nowhere else to go. You remember when he fought, was it Diabate or whatever? He almost got done in that fight. That's one of the few fights he's won in the last couple of years. He almost got done in that fight because he got backed up against the fence. And he was one of those guys that these last few fights, whenever he got hit, even if he blocked it, you still thought, oof. He can't take too more of them. He looks well fragile. But talking of fragile, I've got the message here I sent you. So this is live. This is live. This is before I'd seen the Bhullar fight.
And I hadn't seen it either, yeah.
Yeah, and I sent you a message that said this. This is word for word. Okay. See, that's how you know it's word for word, because I've even put that at the start.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't seen the fight, but Bhullar looks one of the most non-real fighters ever from the shadow boxing. Chin in the air.
Well, right.
That's what I said. And he got knocked out with the jab.
He did get done by a jab, yeah.
Yeah, so call me Mystic Dave. I predict these things.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Amazing, mate. Honestly, brilliant. Just from the shadow boxing.
You can tell. Honestly, you can't always tell, but 90% of the time, you can tell how competent someone is at boxing through how they shadow box. You really can. You can tell how experienced they are, how loose they are, and all that. And I just looked at him and I just went, "Nah, this bloke ain't got it. He ain't got it. He's going to get blazed out." Then I heard his record, and then he was fighting fighting Breese, and I was like, he's not known as a knockout artist. Maybe I'll get this one wrong. He started off not too bad, right? They were kind of having a look at each other, and I was like, he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. And then bang, one jab later, I was like, right,
low pain.
So there you go. Good for Breese, because he's been a bit stop starting, and sort of had a time out, and
he's Ingers, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and he was kind of highly touted when he went in there, and it was a little bit like, he had a couple of fights, then he lost one, then didn't see him for ages, and it was like, what happened to that bloke? He's a bit of a Nika Sipsak for me. I was like, he was actually all right. Where's he gone? And now he's come back.
Well, on the broadcast, they said that he doesn't do any weights.
That's right, yeah.
And I thought to myself, they said he does gymnastic stuff and whatever, and understandably, to make that harder, he will add weights to his body, but he's just pulling and pushing himself around. And I thought to myself, you've just bought recently a weights bench, and you feel like a right mug now. You know what I mean? Look at what he looks like, and he ain't got a weights bench.
Well, okay, I'm going to pick up on what you said, because I do remember Dan Hardy saying, "Yeah, you don't do any weights,"
There's
or
no
whoever
way.
said,
But, yeah.
"Yeah, you don't do any weights," and then literally 10 seconds later, he goes, "Yeah, I do gymnastics with weights." So you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You do weights
Well,
because you do
yeah.
gymnastics. I mean, it's just one of the most stupid things I've ever heard.
Well, I mean, obviously, he doesn't do traditional. Yeah. He is, yeah.
Well, unless you train with Ken Shamrock, no fighters should really be doing weights that much.
No, I mean, I completely agree. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Should be doing some weights, but it should be like his gymnastics with weights. With weights should be supplementary to fast, explosive actions. So pushing those sleds. Even stuff like deadlifts where you really shoot up really quick stuff. But you shouldn't be sitting there doing bicep curls. Let's put it like that.
No,
You know what I
spend
mean?
the
If you want
time
to do that,
learning techniques.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Instead of
So,
lifting weights,
yeah. So not much to say on this fight really, other than the fact that like I say, just got confirmation that Bhullar wasn't unreal, and that Tom Breese. I don't think he's proved much for that fight, just because who he was
because of the
fighting.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
He only beat what's in front of him, but what was in front of him was unreal. So.
Yeah. Well, Bullar's. I wonder who Bhullar beat to get the 8-0, because that's a quite impressive record. Again, he beat whoever was put in front of him.
That's right. Yeah. And look, I'm not saying he's bad. Look, we've seen some really bad fighters, right? If anyone who don't know, there's UC MMA in the UK, they will literally give a fight to anyone who turns up and is willing to get in there, basically.
I swear, we've had some blokes from the crowd before.
We'll have to put some of the fights that we've got saved from those organisations.
They're brilliant. But then saying that, I can't think of anybody else. Okay, Jimmy Manawa, and Arnold Allen are the only two fighters I can think of right now that especially Arnold Allen. I mean, if you remember, I think he was about 16 or something when he was fighting on the O'Donnell shows, and we were saying back then he looks good. So
the guy
he is good.
The guy who was fighting was good, and is actually, after years, I always thought to myself, what happened to the guy who fought? Because I remember him. His name was Nathan Grayson, and I always thought, what happened to him as well? Because they had an amazing fight. If you haven't seen that, go and watch Arnold Allen v Nathan Grayson at UCLA. It's a really brilliant back and forward fight between two sort of, young, hungry, up and coming, good young lads or whatever.
Doesn't have that normally on these shows. There's not normally fighters like that, but you could tell they were good.
Exactly, you heard something about him, and he's been successful. I think did he win Cage Warriors or something like that? Nathan Grayson. He's been successful since. I imagine he'll get a shot in the UFC at some stage.
That's the agreement, isn't it? Cage Warriors, then UFC.
Yeah, but he was good as well. But outside of that, I mean, there's been some people fighting on those shows that, honestly, they shouldn't be in there. That's all I can say about it. I don't want to be too nasty. But
we're 8-0.
I'd have backed the ring card girls to beat some of them.
Okay, well, that says it all, doesn't it? Blimey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, like I said, who?
That the card finished, is it?
The prelims, yeah.
Oh, it is it?
Good, wasn't it? Look, I'm going to recap it, right? Yeah. So, look, I'm going to quickly recap, right? Breese, good fight. Daukaus against Yogi Bear. Nickname Yogi Bear.
Maybe it's good. I'd have to know the story behind it.
Yeah, that's true. That was a good fight, definitely for a heavyweight. Kasanganay and Buckley, brilliant fight. AlQaisi and Tony Kelley. Well, we liked Tony Kelley at least out of it, if you know what I mean. He looked good.
Yeah, and it had all the drama at the end, which made it exciting as well.
Punch to the chest and all that, yeah. Omar Moraes versus Giga Chikadze. I mean, that was all right.
It was all right. It was a decent scrap, that.
Yeah, it was all right, yeah. And then you had the two fight pass prelims, which you didn't
we won't mention.
Yeah, they weren't. They weren't.
I mean, if you had to rate that as a prelim card, I'd definitely be giving that, like a B+ or an A- or something like that. I mean,
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's worthy of an 8 just for the Buckley thing, right? But I'm just trying not to be, too over the top. That was amazing. But,
They were good.
The other fights, there wasn't one stinker. Let's put it like they were all really good. All the guys, turned up, had good smashes. And obviously you got one of the, real highlight moments of not just this year of MMA full stop. So, yeah, brilliant prelims.
Definitely were good, yeah. There you go. So, look, we'll leave it there and we'll move on and we'll stop this one and we'll do the main card in a bit. So, thanks for that. That was a good card, very enjoyable. And I would suggest that you listen to the next one, which is the main card, because that was also pretty good. So, yeah. So, we'll have a chat about that in a minute. Thanks for this one and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Brilliant. See you, mate. Ciao.
Nice one. See you later. Bye.
Bye.